The Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act has been signed into law by former President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo in 2006. It aims to provide intervention programs for youth offenders of the law instead of throwing them into jail. And joining us in the studio is Executive Director of the Juvenile Justice Welfare Council, Attorney Tricia Oco, to give us an update on proposed amendments to the law. Good morning, Attorney Oco.
Good morning, Jing.
Can you tell us what the amendments are? Proposed amendments.
The proposed amendment, well, one of the things that it actually wanted to strengthen the law on RA 9344. Specifically, it addresses the question on what to do with children who are 15 years old and below but have committed serious crimes, especially heinous crimes.
What do the provisions call for?
The new provisions,
yes, the new provisions.
The proposed provisions require them to undergo a mandatory intensive therapy, and some of them, if need be, should be mandatorily placed in an institution instead of just being released to their parents.
Right now, they're released to their parents.
Not really, but in our present law, you can also institutionalize these children, especially if they are going to be endangered in the community because of the repercussions of the wrongdoings that they did. Like, for instance, the neighborhood might not, accept them if you let them go back to the community. So, but in this provision, it clarifies that because the law is silent about these children.
And what institutions are you talking about? What are the government institutions?
Yes, government institutions. And there's also a requirement in the new provisions for government institutions to establish an intensive center for these children.
So that doesn't exist yet?
We only have a requirement to establish what you call a youth detention home, or we call it Bahay Pag-asa, where if the child committed a crime and there is a pending case for that child, instead of him or her going to the jail, he or she will go to the Bahay Pag-asa, but not this intensive juvenile. It's called Intensive Juvenile Intervention Center.
What if the child, below 15, but above 12, is involved in a case like rape or murder, heinous crimes?
Yes, then if it's heinous crime, then that child needs to go to the Intensive Juvenile Intervention Center. He should be mandatorily placed there. It's a requirement of the law, of the provision now, of the proposed provision.
And what happens while the child is there?
Well, he needs to go. I'll just use the word he because
yes. Yeah, go ahead.
The child needs to go to the needs to undergo an multidisciplinary therapy. So that should include doctors, social workers, a multidisciplinary team actually. So it's not just the social working on that case, but it will involve a lot of other duty bearers.
I was reading the provisions, and the phrase "with discernment" was always present.
That's right.
In most of the paragraphs, with discernment means the child knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Basically, that's it. Okay.
And if that is the basis for the law, then are we treating children as children, or are we treating as adults committing a heinous crime, for example?
When you talk about discernment, it actually you will simply determine if the child already knows if he or she is doing what is right or wrong. But when you talk about treatment, that's another thing, because a child with discernment should also be treated in a child-sensitive way. So the only difference is, because we are now equating discernment with criminal responsibility, the only difference is if the child is considered with discernment, you can file a case against the child. But if he or she acted without discernment, then there will be no criminal case against the child. But nevertheless, in both cases, you will have to make that child accountable, but through a different procedure, not the adult-oriented procedure, which is you file a case, the adult goes to jail. In the meantime that the case is pending, he could go to jail. But with the child, he does not go to jail. He only goes either to the institution, it's still a deprivation of liberty actually, or he is released to his parents, but he will, in any case, he needs to go on an intervention program.
And what do we expect the Congress, how do we expect the Congress to act on the proposed amendment?
Well, we are hoping that they will approve if they're going to approve the proposed amendment, it's going to be just to strengthen the law, but not really to lower the minimum age of criminal responsibility.
And is Congress going to approve? What's your sense? Are they going to approve it before the session adjourns?
It's one of their priority issues. So, in my personal opinion, I think they will. Yeah.
All right.
But that's only my personal opinion.
We understand. Attorney Oco, thank you very much for joining us this morning.